What's up, 4th and 5th graders? Time for Stuff with Nick. Woo! On Stuff with Nick today, we're talking about friendship and this word, forgiveness. Now I have a quick story just to set the mood. When I was in college, my best friend borrowed my car. Why not? Friends let friends borrow their cars, right? Well, that's what I thought too. Long story short, when he's borrowing my car, I get a phone call from him. Hey Kevin, yeah, what's up? Nick? Yeah? I broke a window on your car. Well, that's the last time Kevin borrowed my car. Oh, I'm just kidding. It was an accident and I was able to forgive him because he didn't even mean to do it. And he asked for my forgiveness. And that's a pretty simple example. But there's also things that happen with our friends, with our family, and with people that we love that forgiving them isn't so easy to do. But there's a story at the end of the book of John that tells us so much about the way that Jesus forgives us. Our story comes today in John chapter 21, verses 1 through 19. So this story happens after Jesus has already been raised from the dead. He's died on the cross, and he has been buried, and now he is alive again. So the disciples one day decide to go out fishing. They are fishermen. And the lake that they happened to be fishing on, the Sea of Galilee, was the lake that Jesus happened to be walking along the shore of this day. So Jesus is walking along the shore and then he sees them in the boat. Obviously he knew they were there. And he calls out to them.
Friends, haven't you any fish?
And not really understanding who it was, Peter from the boat said,
No.
Then something crazy happened. Jesus called out again.
Try throwing your net on the other side of the boat.
So even though they were tired from a long night of fishing, they might as well have tried. As soon as they couldn't even pull up the net because of how many fish were in it, they knew that it was the Lord Jesus. Peter jumped overboard and swam almost 100 yards, a football field, all the way to the shore, just to see Jesus. So once they got to shore, Jesus asked them to bring some fish so they could cook it and eat breakfast together. So they all ate breakfast together. And then Jesus asks Peter a series of questions that are really interesting, but so important.
Simon, son of John, do you truly love me more than these? Yes, Lord. You know that I love you. Simon, do you truly love me? Yes, Lord. You know that I love you. Simon, son of John, do you love me? Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you.
Now, why would Jesus ask Peter the same question 3 times in a row? But if we rewind to chapter 18, we see that Peter does something 3 times. The night that Jesus was arrested, he was taken to this place where Peter followed him to. And some people there asked Peter if he knew Jesus. They asked him this 3 different times, and every time Peter said no. And Jesus knew this was going to happen. He told him about it in chapter 13 of the book of John. So before the rooster crowed in the morning, Peter denied even knowing Jesus 3 times. And we see in chapter 21 that Jesus asks Peter if he loves him 3 times. Now let's say you were with your best friend and they were introducing you to some other friends that you had never met before. And maybe the other friends thought you looked a little weird or they didn't really like your shoes. And so your best friend denied even knowing you. Would you be hurt by that? I would. So Jesus denying Peter hurt because it doesn't feel good to be denied. But even though it hurt, what did Jesus do? He forgave Peter. He chose to forgive him. For the 3 times that he denied him, he offered him 3 opportunities to confess his love for Jesus. And afterwards, Jesus said, I tell you the truth. When you were young, you were able to do as you liked. You dressed yourself and went wherever you wanted to go. But when you're old, you will stretch out your hands and others will dress you and take you where you do not want to go. And then he said these 2 words, follow me. So Jesus has forgiven Peter by asking him 3 times if he loved him. So even though it might be hard, like when someone breaks a window on your car, It's really important that friends forgive friends. So think of someone at school, someone in your family, someone you live with that you can forgive. Or maybe someone that you need to ask forgiveness from. Because even though it's hard and weird and kind of uncomfortable, it's so important to forgive other people and to ask for them to forgive you, because Jesus has forgiven us of more than we could ever even understand. He's brought us from death to life. And in the 45, we know that Jesus is everything. So if Jesus has done this for us, it's only right that as we try to follow him, we do the same for other people. So my question, who can you forgive? Then before you go to sleep tonight, go and do something to forgive that person. That's it. See ya.